Familia, I got something really special to share with y'all. So a few years back, Renny and Rocio, who are mentors of mine and own a gallery called iMPeRFeCT Gallery in Philadelphia, asked me to film a documentary documenting the process of creating a piece called The Ghost of Censorship. Last week, I released it on my YouTube. Let's talk about it. Renny and Rocio are artists that have owned galleries and run galleries since the late 80s in the tri-state area. So they've mostly been in New York, in the Bronx, and then they moved to a place called Germantown, Philadelphia, and that's where they reside now. That's where they've had their gallery for many years, and that's where I got to know them, where I met them. They're one of those couples that I think are important to the artistic movements that have been happening in the last 30 and 40 years. You know, they were kind of right in the mix of everything in the Bronx. Like late 80s, early 90s was super important to the development and growth of the Black and Latino culture. You know, hip hop was starting to reach its golden age. Graffiti, dancing, all of those things were centralized in New York for a very long time. Of course, they had their pockets elsewhere in other places and in other regions, but New York was very influential and unique at the time. And they were right there in the middle of all of it. This film was a big thank you from me to them, because they have not only been a part of a lot of movements, a lot of underground movements for the last couple of decades, but I am grateful and thankful because they included me as part of their work. I got to display art in their gallery. I've done many, many concerts at their gallery. I frequently go to their openings and to their Roombas. They are one of the most accepting and open people. And I really appreciate that about them, because not every art gallery, not every group or, group of people is very accepting. I came in and they welcomed me with open arms. And since then, my art and my artistry, my musicianship, my appreciation for art has grown exponentially, because it became less about, what I see on YouTube, whatever the algorithm is passing to me, which is always going to be part of research, but also real world examples of people that have been in the game for a long time. This documentary, it was a big thank you and a big step for me as an artist. One thing that was really special about filming this documentary was a part that didn't even make it into the documentary. It was un cafecito with Renny and Rocio before we started filming, and them just talking. And I don't want to give away too much because I'm about to show it to you, but it was a conversation that Renny and Rocio had with somebody else where they were talking about, oh, Renny, we saw you in this clip on YouTube. And what it ended up being was a clip of Henry Chalfant's 50th birthday party. And there you see Renny in there being a little knucklehead at, I don't know how old, 20 something, 30 something, who knows. And Henry Chalfant, if you don't know who Henry Chalfant is, first of all, Henry Chalfant is one of Renny and Rocio's mentors and friends, but also Henry Chalfant is the director and creator of a little documentary called Style Wars.
1983, Style Wars gave the world its first look at a phenomenon that had taken over New York City. Graffiti artists had invented a new visual language to express their individuality.
If y'all are watching this, watch this damn movie, okay? Because it is a fascinating deep dive into the subway graffiti culture in New York in the 80s. Super dope.
I mean, just look what happened on Grand Street when it was Henry's 50th birthday. It was Henry Chalfant's 50th birthday party, and every New Yorker writer was there. And at the end of the night, it was a humongous, full loft, full filled from wall to wall of people. And at the end of the night, we went out to walk. And there's a video of that, walking out in the street, and we were walking and looking at everything on the block, tag, all the neighbors built up. We were like, oh.
You don't love.
His place, everywhere.
How do you know that footage existed? Somebody, when we opened the gallery, they looked me up and they found it.
They found that, and Osiris found it. She said it's on YouTube somewhere. There's a walkthrough
That's
the
me,
day
somebody
after,
else, Henry
the day after
Chopin.
Henry Chopin, and he said, I saw a video of you.
What's your initial reaction, Henry?
I'm moved.
You're moved.
I'm touched.
Okay, let's go take a look at your
I
other
think your neighbors will be very...
They'll be moved.
Henry, here's something a little bit more distressing over here.
Just how crazy.
Henry, over here, Henry. We have to get rid of this really soon, I think.
Oh, look! From my neighbor's door. Oh, wow.
Those doors have now become historic.
Oh, yes. Real collector's item.
Don't worry, Henry, it'll all be gone tomorrow.
Very late at night, and I was like, what? And we found it, we watched it, and he's what? That night is our anniversary.
That's when you put that stuff in
That's
my
when I
drink.
got you drunk and I took you to my house. No, I'm just kidding. I went to your place. I invited me to his place. That's how easy he was. Can I go? Yeah, all right.
I'm trying buying at least a slice of pizza. I'm not that cheap. You gotta give me at least something.
So we actually have made that night because we knew it was our friend's 50th birthday. That's our anniversary. We count that as our anniversary because that's when she began. That's funny.
A long time ago.
Yeah, so that was one of the coolest moments about the documentary, was not even the actual filming of the documentary, which was still pretty cool, but just this casual off-the-cuff conversation that wouldn't have made sense to put in the documentary because it has nothing to do with it. But it is intriguing and fascinating to hear them talk about their involvement in the art scene in the 80s and 90s. It's super cool. Now let's go back and talk a little bit about The Ghost of Censorship, which is the documentary that I released on YouTube last year. Now, I made it in 2023, and the reason why I'm releasing it now in 2025 is because it was doing the festival circuit, or at least, I don't know, I wanted it to do the festival circuit. But if you know anything about documentary filmmaking or filmmaking in general, the festival circuit can be very difficult. And I only made it into 2 festivals, and I applied to like a couple dozen. I don't want to say it's money wasted because it's good experience, but yeah, a little $10 here for submission, a little $15 here for submission, a little $50 here for submission. It all adds up, and you know, it ends up being a lot of work for, I want to say, a little bit of payback, but not really, because I got into a film festival in Vienna. You know, like they showed my film in Vienna, cabrón. That's crazy. They also showed The Ghost of Censorship at the Philadelphia Latino Arts and Film Festival, which is a huge deal to me because the person who runs it, she does a lot for the community. And she's another one of those people that I'm like, yo, wow, thank you for everything that she's been doing. She's gracious, she works hard, and she's humble. And I really appreciate her. But something that I've learned a lot through the festival process is just rejection, man. Like it sucks to go and spend all day looking for the right festivals, and then within the coming weeks to see and read, we liked your film, but it won't make it. We like your film, but it won't make it. Unfortunately, it's tough, yo. It really is. I think I'm more sensitive to rejection than the average person. Without knowing how you are as a person watching this, how you feel about rejection, sometimes I feel like I'm a little more sensitive than the average person, because sometimes it hits and it just devastates me. Everybody talks about show business being just a practice in accepting rejection. And yo, like really it was. Like it really was. Because, yeah, real talk. You know, like 2 out of 20, that's 10%. That's tough. That's a rough day at the office. Because I'm displaying the work of somebody that I love, of course I want it to be successful. Of course I want it to be in 1 million homes. But the message is about anti-censorship and how slippery the slope can be when we talk about censorship. We talk about censoring one thing and then it turns and snowballs into 1 million other things. That's really what the message is about. And so if it touches the right hearts of people that watch the documentary, for me, that's more than worth it. That's more than worth it, because at least somebody will see it and get some value out of it. Something that was really interesting for me is because it's a 2-year-old documentary, I had a crappy tripod that wasn't made for film. My sound equipment was trash, and going back and watching something that's 2 years old is great to see where I was then and to see where I'm at now. One thing about filmmaking that's a little bit different than music making is filmmaking is really connected to gear and technology. It's not to say that you can't make something great with like really low end equipment, because 100% you can. There are just some quality of life things that make the process a whole lot easier. You know, having a good tripod is like, if you're gonna invest in something, invest in a tripod. It's gonna outlast your camera. You're gonna stick with your tripod longer than you're gonna stick with your camera. So you might as well spend money on it. And, you know, I had a little $100 photography tripod that was good enough to mount the camera when I needed it. But, you know, like moving the camera, if I needed to move the camera, it was just a pain in the butt. Screwing it in wasn't strong enough so if I aimed it and I screwed in the tripod, it would just go down a little bit. So I would set up the perfect shot, but I would have to compensate. So I would have to put the tripod up just a tiny little bit so that when it goes down, okay, that's the shot that I wanted. Those little quality of life things, they mean something. They mean something in documentary filmmaking. You know, it's as opposed to like music, you know, like these keyboards that I have here. These keyboards these models are very old. Like maybe the one down here might be 20 years old. For me, I love this one. Music is so different. You can use vintage equipment and still be relevant. But with filmmaking, you can use vintage equipment, but it's much more difficult to be in the festival circuit. The festival circuit, you kind of need a certain level of fidelity, a certain level of technology to go along with your artistry. So that's something that I really learned in this process of the documentary, was just how much quality of life, how important that is to me. You know, not, you know, oh my gosh, I'm gonna spend $5,000 on a tripod. Hell no, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying I need to spend whatever money I need to spend on to get the right tripod, the one that's gonna work for me. And you know, the tripod that I had wasn't it. It's good for photography. Like I said, I can just set it up and leave it there, but anytime I need to move, it was a pain in the butt, and it showed when I was making the documentary. With that being said, you know, please, if you're watching this, you know, maybe, I don't know, I'm still new to making YouTube, so I'm gonna put it somewhere. I don't know, maybe you'll see like a link here somewhere to it. or maybe it's down in the description, I don't know. But please watch it. If you haven't seen it already, you know, go take a look at the documentary and watch it. Let me know what you think. Follow Renny Molenaar, you know, follow his work. His work is very connected to anti-censorship, and I'm 100% for it. You know, even on YouTube, you know, it was weird saying things like unalive. Maybe there should be a parental discretion advisory thing for certain channels, but it's really weird, this culture of language that's being created via YouTube because of censorship. Censorship is not a political thing. Every side utilizes censorship in some kind of way. And if you're here watching this and you're on the right, if you're here watching this and you're on the left, y'all are gonna be pointing the fingers at each other, not knowing that it happens across the board, no matter what. Just get rid of your bias for a second, look at what's happening. It don't matter what side you're on, every side censors. And we gotta be really cognizant of that, and we have to be very careful about what's happening, because again, it's a slippery slope. It's a very slippery slope. So take a look at it. Let me know what you think. Okay, as for what's next, what is Angel Rafael doing next? Okay, so this last week has actually been kind of good that I put that documentary out, because it allowed me to take a break from filming YouTube videos and focus on editing. Okay, what is next is I'm gonna let y'all know I'm working on something called the Lancaster Living Poetry Museum. It is a feature-length documentary that was funded by the Poet Laureate of Lancaster named Dana Kinsey. And the rough draft of this film is like this close to being done. And once I'm done with that, I'm gonna take a break and work on some other projects and then get that second draft in. But next week, we're gonna talk about it. Let's just slow down. Let's let the Ghost of Censorship have its time to simmer just a little bit. And let's take a look at it. Let me know what y'all think. So before I continue moving full steam ahead with Sueño Sessions, which is coming out in 2 weeks, and the Living Poetry Museum, which is coming out much later but will be finished this week, I wanted to take a second to talk about a project that is near and dear to my heart, and that is called the Ghost of Censorship. What did y'all think? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was okay? Did you wish that you were in a theater with a big bag of popcorn watching Renny do his thing because Angel Rafael is such a cinematic genius? Let me know. Put it in the comments. Like, subscribe, do all the things. I love y'all. Thank you for coming along on this journey with me. I can't wait to show y'all the next projects. Peace, love, all the things. Bye-bye.